We came back again because there was interruption in the internet connection. We was finished at this slide. That is the equation method, and we said that selling price times the quantity sold gives sales value. If multiplying variable unit cost by quantity sold, it gives variable cost at the sold quantity. Then deducting also total fixed costs, we have operating income. Now he said that let Q number of units to be sold to break even. That is the 3,000. So $70, that is the sale price per unit, if multiplied by the quantity sold that we didn't know, and we deduct the $42, the variable cost per unit, times the same quantity that we will sold, then deduct the 84,000. If we have zero, so we are at the break-even point. So 70 minus 42 gives the 28Q equal 84,000 units, $84,000. 84,000 divided 28 gives 3,000 units. That's the break-even point. Again, as we told you in the face-to-face lecture, dividing total fixed cost by contribution margin per unit gives you break-even point in quantity, that is 3,000 units. Now, contribution margin method, 84,000 divided 28 equals 3,000 units. It is the same, but he began giving the operating income equation, that is sales minus variable cost minus fixed cost, if giving zero, so it is the break-even point, and he multiplied the 70 by Q minus 42 times the Q minus the 84,000, it gives zero. So Q, we found that it equals 3,000. Now 84,000 divided by 28, the same, gives 3,000. If dividing the total fixed cost by 40%, this will give $210,000, and this is the break-even point in value. Remember again, as we told you in the live or face-to-face lecture, that the break-even point in units, if multiplied by sale price per unit, that is 70, it gives 210. So $210 value of break-even, if divided by 70 sale price, it gives 3,000 the quantity. ده الطريقة اللي ممكن نلعب بيها في الأسئلة عشان حضرتك تبقى فاهم بشكل كويس. This is the graphical method to get the break-even point in quantity and in value, both. So this yellow line indicates sales revenue. This line of total cost indicate the green line indicates total cost because it begins from the fixed cost. Both lines are going linear and intersected at this point. This means that total sales were less than total cost at beginning. So this area we call loss area. Then the sales revenue became up and total cost line became down. This is called profit area. At this point, both lines are intersected together. So the value here is the same for sales and total cost. The quantity here in this point is the same sales and total cost, as sales equal total cost. So this is the break-even point. Reading on the x-axis, you get 3,000 units. Reading on the y-axis, you get $210,000. This is the quantity and this is the value of break-even. Target operating income. How to get the point that realizes a target operating income. I told you either for getting break-even point in quantity or value, we have to divide total fixed cost by what? If dividing total cost by contribution margin per unit, it gives quantity of break-even. If dividing total fixed cost by contribution margin percentage, it gives value of break-even. So suppose that you want to realize an operating income of £100,000. Add this 100,000 to the fixed cost in the numerator of the equation, either to get the quantity or the value at which we can realize operating income of 100,000. So the point at which we realize total operating income equal fixed cost plus target operating income divided either contribution margin percentage to get it in value or contribution margin per unit to get it in quantity. Target operating income, as an example, assume that management wants to have an operating income of 14,000. Again, remember that sale price per unit equal 70, variable cost per unit equal 42, so contribution margin equal 28 divided 70 gives 40% contribution margin percentage, and total fixed cost equal 84,000. How many pairs of pants must be sold to realize 14,000? You have to add the 14,000 plus the 84,000 fixed cost, then divide by 28 or 40% to get value, quantity or value. 84 plus 14, this is fixed cost plus operating income required or target operating income, divided 28 gives 3,500 units. The 3,500 units more than the break even, that is 3,000. The number of units more than the break even equal 500 units. If you multiply the excess 500 by 28, it gives you $14,000. Again, what dollar sales are needed to achieve this target income? He told us that if adding the target operating income to fixed cost and divided 40% instead of $28, it gives 245,000. The 245,000 is more than the break-even point. The break-even point was 210,000. So there is excess of 35,000 sales. 35,000 multiplied by 40% gives $14,000. Now, target net income and income tax example. I told you also, target operating income, just add the operating income to the fixed cost on the numerator, divide by 28 or 42 to get quantity or value at which you will realize the target operating income. But suppose that I don't want operating income, I want a net income. This means after tax income. Take this after tax income and convert it to operating income. How? As I told you, suppose that net income is 150, but after deducting 25% tax. So if deducting 25% tax, so the remaining is 75%. 100% deduct 25% as taxes, so the remaining net income is 75%. So dividing the 150 by 75 gives you 200,000 operating income. The 200,000, if deducting 25% of it, you get net income of 150. So we have to convert the net income to be operating income, then add to the total fixed cost to get the point needed that realize the net income, target net income. Management would like to earn an after-tax income. It means net income of 35,711. Tax ratio or tax percentage, 30%. This means that the operating income after deducting 30% should be 35,711. So the 100%, suppose 100%, that is operating income, just one. If deducting 0.3, I mean 30%. So 1 minus 0.3 gives 0.7. 100% minus 30% gives 70%. If dividing the 35,711 by the 70%, it gives you the operating income needed. So what is the target operating income? Target operating income equal target net income divided 1 minus tax ratio. So target operating income equal 35,711, that is the net income, divided 1 minus 0.3, 100 minus 30%, it gives 51,016. Now, using the 51,016, that is the target operating income, which realizes 35,711 net income. If you add the 51,016 to the total fixed cost 84, dividing by 28 or 40%, it gives the quantity and value of the point at which we realize after tax income of 35,711, like this. How many units must be sold? Revenue minus variable cost minus fixed cost. equal target net income divided 1 minus tax rate. 70Q, sale price times Q. To find the Q using the equation, minus 42Q to find the Q. 70 minus 42 means sale price minus variable cost per unit. Then deduct the 84. If he gives you just the needed operating income, that is the point we are needed. So Q equal 51,016, that is operating income, plus 84,000 divided 28, it gives 4822 pairs of bands approximately. To prove, revenue 4822 times 70, variable cost 4822 times 42 gives contribution margin, minus fixed cost 84 gives operating income 51,016. If deducting income tax 30% out of 51,016, it gives net income of 35,711. That is the needed net income. Using CVP analysis examples, this will be the Zoom lecture number 3 next week, inshallah. Thank you very much. Pay attention that the lecture of the Zoom lecture of today, that is the second lecture, is divided into 2 parts for the interruption in the internet connection. Thank you very much.